Hello, this is Nia with the Rainbow Cauldron, and I'm doing a reading for N, and this is a past life reading, Together in a Past Life, and she actually asked about two people in her life, and this is, I've never actually done a reading with Together in a Past Life reading with more than two people, so this was interesting for me. And I did already do this reading out in my garden, and here's a picture of that reading. And now I am inside to basically do a video of what came up. Um, and here we have a purple candle. I don't know if you can really see it. The lighting in here is kind of bright. And around the candle is some mugwort, yarrow, and thyme, which is all great things for psychic connections and connecting with past lives. So that's what we have burning there. And I also, you can't even see it, but I have my Danu statue. She can't get, there it is. Ah, there she is. All right. And I just, she just called to me for this, and I felt like, her energy needed to be with this reading. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go straight into this. All right, and what I'm going to do, first of all, 3 lives came through for you. And what I'm doing for this is the first row is going to be that each life with possibly with person A, which was, we'll call him I, and the second row are the same 3 lives, but with person B, which is S, and if the card is upright, that means that you two were together. You both were born in that life and in each other's lives in that particular life. And if the card was reversed, that means that you two were not together in that life. But I still will read the reverse card because it does have to do with who you were in that life. So, all right, so the first 3 cards will be with person A, and we have a Major Arcana card, the Lord, number 4, this is reversed. The camera is facing this way, so I'm reading it these ways. So the cards are facing me. So this is actually reversed. Then we have the 6 of Pentacles reversed. Let me straighten these out. And finally, the 3 of Pentacles upright. So in these lives, person A was with you in this life, but he was not with you in these lives. All right, and I'm sorry for that bling blong noise. That was just my computer. And now the bottom 3 cards will be person B, and these are the same lives. So I'm going to be reading these cards together. So in your first life, he was with you, King of Cups upright. Second life, he was with you again, 10 of Cups upright. And third life, he was with you again. So person B was with you in all 3 of these lives, and this is the 7 of Swords. Okay, so when I pulled these cards out in my garden, the first life that really jumped out at me was this middle life, and I'm going to read this one together. So person A was not with you in this life, but this card still pertains to you, so I am still going to read it. And person B was with you in this life. Okay, and if we look at these cards, 6 of Pentacles and 10 of Cups, and to me, this is a very good karma kind of life. This is a life that things went well for you, and you made really good choices in this life. And a lot of the positive things that are happening in your current life are from this life. Like, this is a very positive life. And person B was most definitely married to you. You and person B were had a romantic, loving marriage, and filled with children and prosperity. Look at all these cups out here on their table. That's showing that they have plenty, and we've got a rainbow in the sky. I mean, it couldn't get more pleasant. This is a very family-oriented, positive life. And what I get from this card is that you were a very generous person, and you guys had a lot of resources and money and things like that, and you were more than happy to share it with others. And that it's just a, you very much cared about other people. You put others before yourself, maybe even to a fault. But I feel like this was just an extremely positive life for you, that a lot of the positive energies that are happening in your life now, when something good is going on in your life, a lot of that is coming from this life where you made a lot of very positive choices. I don't know exactly what your job is. In fact, I'm not totally sure what your gender was. I'm going to say right now, in these two lives here, this life and this life, you were very much a man. But in this life, I don't know if you were the woman or the man, and person B was or was a woman or the man. It's very ambiguous. I'm not getting a clear distinction on your genders, but. And a lot of that's because what I'm feeling from this is that the two of you very much respected each other and were very much on an equal wavelength. Like, there was no person who was in charge of the other. It was very much a partnership, and very positive. So it's the genders, your genders are not being clarified here, but you two were definitely married, and you had children, and you had plenty of money. And I feel like the money that you guys had, a lot of it was brought to you purely out of luck, and I feel like that's why you were so generous with it, is because I feel like that you didn't feel like you 100% deserved it, all of it, because some of it was just brought to you by luck, by sheer a good karma, and you were more than happy to share that with others. And that's what the life I'm getting right here. Over here, the first life, you were not with person A, but you were with person B, and look at these two cards, and can it get any more masculine than this, you know? Sorry, I'm trying to get these straight. Okay. Two very, very, very masculine cards. You were most definitely a male. And both of these cards show a man who's in charge, and that's something I very much get from this. I feel like you were the head of something. You were in charge of something. And because this card is very fatherly, I get a very strong sense that you were in charge of a community, maybe a village, maybe a city. Who knows specifically, but you were very much in charge of a community. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when I look at cards like these, it could mean, sure, you could be like royalty or something and in charge of a village and all that, or it could mean that you were actually in charge of a company. You were in charge of workers, and you were the head of a company, that sort of thing. But with this, I'm not getting the company thing. I am more getting that kingdom sort of feeling. And not a king, not that high, but like you were in. It's a very much village community sort of feeling that you were in charge of, and and you were in that position because you were born into it. It's not something that you were voted into or so much something that you earned, but it was something you were born into. And and person B in this life was your brother. And it took me a while to get that energy, because I sat and looked at these cards for a while trying to figure out who was person B in this life. And the more I stared at this, it just suddenly burst through brother. And as soon as that came through, that was so right. He was absolutely your brother. And it was a very positive relationship. Um, so you were the older brother, and because of that, you got the leadership position. And I don't feel like there was any animosity from him about that. I think he was more than happy to let you be the leader, and he was very supportive. And I just get a lot of support from this. The Lord card, he is very fatherly, stern and strict, but fair. And the King of Cups is someone who's emotionally mature, who cares about the people he's in charge of. And Cups is ruled by water, and water is ruled by emotions and insight, intuition, those sorts of things, being in touch with feelings. And that's something I feel very strongly about you. You were very much caring about the people you ruled over or were in charge of. And you were a very fair and stern leader, but you were also very caring. And person B was your brother, and very supportive. And I also feel like you did have children in this life. Um, you were married and had children. One specific partner isn't really coming through, so it's possible that you may have had more than one spouse in this life. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm getting from that. From here, both of the men from these readings were in your life. Person A was represented by this card, and person B is represented by this card. And this was a little confusing for me, mostly the Seven of Swords. One strong energy that's coming through for both of these cards is it's a very work-oriented sort of thing. Both of these cards are very work-oriented, so it's not so much like these two lives where we get a lot of family feelings, and especially with the middle life, a lot of family feelings. And then over here, we've got a fatherly card, and you were in charge of people. And here, it's a very work-oriented life, and something where you cared much more about your profession. I do not believe that you were married in this life. You were definitely a man, as you were in the first life, but you it's you didn't really care much about having a family. You were more focused on your work in this life. And person A, I don't feel like he was someone who was super important in your life, but he was someone who worked with you and someone you respected. It was, you know, I wouldn't, you guys were friendly with each other, but it wasn't a friendship. It was really just a working relationship. And that's really the only feeling I get from this, is that yes, he was in your life, but he wasn't someone who was, super important. Just someone you respected and was friendly with and you worked with. And I feel like he was a very competent worker. Um, and worked hard. And I think that's something you saw. And here in this card, in most tarot decks, the Seven of Swords often has to do with deceit and thievery, betrayal, things like that. But the energies I'm getting from here aren't so much that energy. I feel like person B was most likely your apprentice of some sort, someone you trained to take over your position. Um, I kind of get a nephew feeling, but not quite. Like I don't feel like you guys were related, but I do get a sort of nephew feeling like this. Maybe he was the son of a close friend, something like that. But you kind of took him in um, and taught him the trade of whatever your job was, and you guys had a very almost master student sort of relationship, and you were training him to basically replace you when you left. And the feeling I get from this is um, I do get a little bit of a deceit sort of feeling, not from you or him, but I feel like maybe someone else cheated you in this life, and it just sort of made life a little bit harder, especially in your later years. And I feel like, here we have an old man sitting at a desk. I mean, he should be retired at this point, but he's still there working, and I feel like that's because I feel like someone cheated him, and I feel like that's you. That this had happened in your life. Someone cheated you, and it caused you to worry more about your business and have to continue to be in the business for longer than you intended. And that's the sort of feeling I get from this. Um, that person B was an apprentice for your business, as someone you were training to uh, to eventually take over for your job, and he was the son of a very close friend, nephew kind of feeling, but not actually related, if that makes sense. And person A was simply a coworker, just simply someone who worked in your business, someone you respected and were friendly with, but you weren't friends, if that makes sense. You didn't spend time with each other outside of work-related events. And okay, so that's the three lives we're getting. One thing I noticed that these two lives very much connected, the first two lives, is that we get a sense of one, you were lucky and a lot of things basically were provided for you. Like in this life, I feel like things just happen to go your way with little to no effort. And in this life, you were born into a leadership position, so it's almost something that was handed to you. But you didn't take that fortune and um, you know, use it poorly. You made wise decisions in both of these lives. In this life, you were a very fair, caring leader of a community. And in this life, you were very generous and gave to the needy, gave to those who were not as lucky or fortunate as you were. And this life is what brings you a lot of the positive things that happen in your current life. And in this life, it's almost like we see an opposite. Like the positive choices are still there. Like you still make, you're still a very good person in this life. But it's a life where you had to work harder for what you got. And you may have a tendency to be naive and let people take advantage of you, and that's right, like right here in this card, we have a man who is almost overly generous. Um, you know, generous to a fault, and maybe that sort of energy went into here, and and you had almost a naivety, and some people took advantage of you, and that's the energy that we get right here. Um, all right, so I hope this was helpful. Um, if you are interested in a free follow-up reading for one of these lives, probably one of the ones that uh, one or both of the men were with you in, just let me know and I can do a follow-up reading on one of these cards. And I'm more than happy to do that, and that is free. And I hope you enjoyed this. It was a very interesting reading, and I'm sorry it was a day late. You know, there just some things came up yesterday for me, and I was unable to do your reading, but I got it done today, and there you go. So, hope you enjoyed. Blessed be.